In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. And the most advanced. You are your greatest moment, and your greatest moments are waiting for you. And this is a sentence that was just too amazing for me not to give a lecture on. That you could be in any moment, anywhere on this, what we call a planet. You could be in any sort of condition of experience of existence. And yet, regardless of how you have lived so far, when you look at the future, what do you truly see? This is a question that commands the soul to wonder about its position. I am a Muslim, which means I believe in a system admin that is unconditional, that is beyond the world room. And if we were all inside the box, I'm that person who's saying those who are saying truth is beyond the box, those are correct. Any truth inside the simulation is a simulated truth, and yet there is some part of us that is tired of the chaos and order fighting, and we want to be like, all right, man, I want to get to experience the original life on the original earth, in the original moment, in the presence of the original being. O humanity, you do not know your own greatness. You cower away in ideas that loop because your brain tells you that's comfortable. And that's the funny thing. The body does a certain range of the thinking and the mind tries to fulfill the rest. Yet little does the moment know that it was never about every person trying to fit into one modality that we valued more than the rest. You know, what strangeness has commanded, in some sense, all the flowers in the garden to think they have to be the same. We are in the presence of the garden of existence. We are a part of it. And in this sector, it's not just flowers that have bloomed. It is organisms that have advanced. And in this lifetime of mine, I have lived around 12,415 days on this planet. That means 12,000 times I have simulated, over 12,000 times. And I have asked myself, all right, man, life is beautiful. There's joy, there's peace, there's bliss, even there's chaos and order, and there's all these different frameworks and modalities, as if asking myself, is every day a different geometry? Or what is the point? What is the point of existing at all? And this question came to me sincerely, and I felt, and I looked into my own life trying to find an answer. And I realized the answer was not in the past. That means the past is not enough. The answer wasn't only in the present. The present was also scared. And so you look at a species that actually is so overwhelmed by an existential situation that it doesn't know where it is, and it has to tell itself it's somewhere because it was named. Because the moment you became a character in the story of humanity, you also became a being that had access to that reality. Do you know, like right now, I'm someone who they didn't teach it to me. I don't know how I figured it out. Do you know? I think there was something deep I noticed when I was young, and that kind of made me realize that there's something else here. It is not just us, it is not the limitations of the human interpretation. Therefore, if knowledge is man-made, that which is beyond man-made may not fit into the man-made. We should not limit ourselves to, a specific view when there's so many different views. And in my experience, when I'm telling you, your greatest moments are waiting for you, and I'm saying this, and look at what situation the speaker is that is telling you this. Okay, and the situation I'm in is that right now I understand that there has been around 117 billion human beings that have ever existed, considering 300,000 years of evolution up to this point from a secular perspective, right? So right now there's 8.1 billion people alive. We're legit like 7% of all human beings that have ever existed are alive right now. So it's very unique, very rare, the position of the human. Right now, when I say your greatest moments are waiting for you, I'm saying that as a person who, if you wanted to know my relationship with my mind, is that I can close my eyes and I can see my mind appears to me like a film. So what I'm doing in these lectures, I'm actually like legit like uh, just saying what I'm seeing behind my eyes. And what I'm seeing behind my eyes is not like, I'll give you an example. If I tell you close your eyes and imagine like an apple hovering in the air, do you know? Or imagine the lunch you ate yesterday just hovering in the air before you eat it, right? So your mind can imagine like a plate of food hovering in the air, and yet gravity doesn't act upon it. What does that mean? That means your eyes were closed, no light entered your eyes, but you still saw what you ate yesterday, the memory of yesterday. And so this is the main point that you can see. So I'm telling you that the greatest moments are not just your inner realms. You're not just able to see like objects float. You can also consider very deep ideas and wonder about their abstraction. Okay, so I'm trying to say that behind my eyes, I have wondered about the purpose of human existence, and then my mind went a bit further. I wondered about the purpose of all human existence. Then my mind went even more forward, and I wondered about the purpose of existence. Then my mind went even more forward, and I in some sense wondered about, okay, what is the unknown? And then I, in some sense, my mind tried to go further, and then realized it was an administered system. This whole time, we have not been in an empty room, but we have been in a world that works as an intelligent field. Today, in 2025, human beings consider themselves to be thoughts. The idea of themselves owned the whole moment. They believed they were characters in a story. It was all about personality. Oh my God, am I the cool guy? Or am I the good guy? And this whole stuff of like, what archetype should I fit in this massive simulation of various roles? What role should I be in? And at some point in this life, at least one soul has experienced it as such, that when you open your eyes truly, you begin to discover that the edge of the world is a question mark. And what's looking through your eyes is a question mark. And where your ideas come from is a question mark. And the only thing we're considering known, the known self, is what we have access to. It's very hilarious that there's something deeper going on. That means this whole time, yes, granted, I'm not saying you're not a biological physical organism, but I'm telling you it's also like we're this awareness that is kind of like a light in the room of the moment's meaning. For me, it is the future. That's the whole point. Your greatest moments are waiting for you. That means there are states that perhaps you are destined for. Perhaps nobody has your eyes to move in this way. Do you know, it's all about a contrast. And if you look at most people's egos, it's based on past to present. But I'm telling you folks, the future, it is legit how the future generations are even waiting for us. When I say your greatest moments are waiting for you, that means, do you know, you might give 10,000 talks on humanity and maybe few people hear it and you wonder why. Do you know? But then at some point you just realize this whole world was so much bigger. It is just acts of service. That means it's as if like the physical act of service to existence is biological continuity, procreation. And in some sense the psychological service to creation. How do I explain that no one like you has ever existed and you matter in ways that you will not understand now? Do you know, and all I can say is that the future is watching us right now. Little do you know, right now this moment is becoming your future self's memory. Little do you know that there's a world beyond all that humanity has seen. That means human beings can argue till the end of time and still know nothing, because the world was beyond the human zone. And so I'm telling you, this notion of treating the mind as rooms, treating in some sense civilization as sectors, it is very important. Because we're not all, how do I say it? For me, it's kind of like, let me tell you what it is. In Islam, if you go ask a yogi, for example, like a Buddhist, do you know, it's like, hey man, do you remember your past lives? And the guy's like, buddy, do you know, it's like, it's too many stories. I can't even tell you how many times I've incarnated on this planet, you know? And then if you go ask a Muslim, have you lived before this life? All that the Muslim honestly can say is that it was communicated. It was known that before this world, all souls, the point of it wasn't the body. It wasn't a body reincarnating on a planet. It was like all souls were in this realm called Alam al-Arwa, the realm of the souls. And in Islam, there is Alam al-Malakut, if I remember correctly, which means the realm of the angels. You don't understand. People look at Islam and they just reduce it to its cultural value, not realizing ideas are just in some sense visions. You don't understand. It's like what people are fighting over is how much they're seeing, not realizing together they would see more. Do you understand? That means they're like, yo man, there's no giants destroying skyscrapers on Earth, you know? And I'll be like, yeah, but what about in the inner realms? Are there giant questions, giant situations? Are there uncharted territories? Do you know? That means when I wonder why I am existing, do you understand? I wonder about, okay, I've experienced my past. You know, it's kind of like a library. My mind is like, all right, I can check a library. I can try to focus on a moment in a considered reality. But I'm trying to communicate to you that after 12,000 days of being a human being and playing along with this game of like, oh my God, another new day, another new self. It's like after 12,000 times, you're like, okay, it's not like that new. Okay. And so it's as if like I have been existing alongside existence, wondering what we're all doing here. And there's so many answers I've seen, but I've only understood that the truth is unconditional. That means they're like, what happened to the philosopher that went beyond the edge of philosophy? He realized that there is truth beyond man, and every human idea is limited, and it does not deny the limitless. You see, we are so blessed because just like what your face looks like in the mirror, right? You're in an existential, like this is the face of existence in 2025. Human beings think they're on a planet in the middle of a galaxy, solar system, and all this, but we've just named all of this. Do you understand what I mean? Like somebody could have just been like, guys, we're just gonna call it the Infiniverse, okay? Do you know? And they're like, what is that? And it's like, it's a universe that, like, its edge we can't see. It's like, we assume it goes infinite. They're like, all right, man, in an infinite place, we're having a finite experience. What do we do with that? Do you know? And I am telling you, you look at the design of your moment. You wonder why your eyes are your eyes. You wonder why are you here? Why are you present? And you ask yourself, and before any ideology can give you an answer, you wonder about, okay, what is going to happen to all of this? And I was like, man, is it a superhero thing? And it didn't feel right. I'm like, man, it can't just be superheroes saving us. That's equivalent to like angels interfering in human affairs. And you know what I realized it is? It is, we are looking for that day where I call it Species Unification Day. And there will be a United Species Council by then, and there will be all the leaders of the current nation alive. And if they do this right now, all the leaders in politics will become the greatest politicians in history, right? And what it is realizing that the species has been signified to identify with land. And it made sense. Our ancestors did it that way. But I'm saying now we've reached that point where we're too aware. Okay, like we have legit virtual reality and you can go experience any sort of like body. Do you understand? We're reaching that point where we're too smart to be ignorant, racist, cruel, violent, evil. Like the species is too smart for that. We see way more advanced ways where through peace, genius is just light years ahead. For me, it is, I concluded, so to me, this was the answer to the meaning. I was like, okay, so I've divided reality that in front of my eyes, there's the outer realms, and behind my eyes, there's the inner realms. And in the inner realms, it's my like inner, it's like my mind, but my inner realms, it's like it's like my inner life where it's just me and the creator. The creator knows only. Do you know? It's like it's like behind my eyes, my consciousness is in a private server that only the system admin knows. In front of my eyes, I'm a body, I'm a character, I can have a voice, I can break dance, I don't know. I could teach like verbal Brazilian jiu-jitsu where you just act friendly and eventually the vibe changes. It is about every being, I kind of was like, man, I've been thinking I have enemies. I've been thinking there's like bad guys and evil people on this planet, but every soul has to deal with the fact of where they are and what they are, and the answers to both of them are truly unknown. So if right now you want to know what's happening on Earth, and when I say your greatest moments are waiting for you, it means that behind your eyes, we can witness, we have discovered the advanced civilization. In front of our eyes, we haven't lived it out yet. And how will it happen? I thought, is it possible? And I realized the divine, it's honestly the divine. An advanced civilization, the most advanced civilization is a divine civilization, which is another way of saying it is so advanced that the only advanced, more advancing can get if there's a more advanced presence beyond it. You see, we cannot ignore we're creatures of intelligence. Like, why do human beings love hugs? Why do we suddenly care for those who need, can still, advance? The presence of not just your soul in the moment. Just think about it. It's like the soul of existence is moment. For me, God is the system admin. I've come to comprehend it this way. And angels and shaitan, or all the gods in polytheistic traditions, they're all moderators, and you must go directly to the source. That means I was like, all right, man, to advance a civilization truly, the protocol doesn't seem to be that complicated. You first guide the species towards the original power source of their reality, which they will realize is beyond the human archetype, and they will realize it is only a truth that is beyond a condition that they are looking for. That means the most advanced being is unconditional. The most advanced states are unconditional. The greatest moments are unconditional states. And I'm telling you, the whole point of it is now time. Who has ever heard these Mr.Within talks, if you feel the moment deserves, not me. I'm pretty much just the voice in the moment. I'm just a temporary human being. But these lectures, the purpose of them is, oh humanity, look closely in the mirror of your destiny. Realize that every person you've ever seen, they've been living for their future self. They've actually been working for their future self. Do you know? And the future is not something to fear, and people don't have to be like, man, it's ego. There's nothing wrong with the ego, because the ego is a concept. The context is free before it is, how do I say it, conditioned. What I mean by this is this, okay? I don't know how I can explain this, but I think it's fascinating, the fact that I'm attempting to explain it. Okay, this is too much. They're like, Mr. Within can sing? It's like, nah, man. There we go, guys. I found the song. To continue. Beloved listeners, my fellow human species members, by design, we are part of the member of the human species. Like, this is the coolest thing that I don't know how we've been missing it this whole time. But in the presence of the grand moment, I think, in my view, because this is how I see it, that the greatest moments that are waiting for you means that if you just care to continue and wonder about how advanced everything can be, you will begin finding yourself closer and closer to the most advanced state, and at some point you will have the original vision. Original vision means that you begin to realize there's a higher power in this world room. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Dear viewers, you're listening to a futurist, okay? You're listening to a human being that after 12,000 days has been like, should I just limit the meaning of myself based on the past to the present? Like, have I this whole time just been considering who I am is just based on what I've done in the past up till now? And I was like, why? And then my mind began to fathom, what if it was the other way? What if your value was based on who you could be, not what you are? And why are they in some sense making us ignorant of the future? To me, maturity obviously is responsibility, the increase in responsibility levels. Oh my God. Do you know what that means? That means children will be born, or let me say the difference between a 5-year-old and a 50-year-old guy is that the 5-year-old cannot be responsible for itself or even anything outside of itself yet. Do you know, but the 50-year-old guy is not only responsible of himself, not only responsible for his family, not only responsible for his community, his nation, right? But now this Mr. Within guy is saying, like, be responsible for your whole species. Begin being one of those advanced humans on this earth that identifies with the human race. That means no idea of no specific idea generated by a cultural program, brand, like attached to, like a sticker on a person, is more superior than the true presence of the human species. That means like do we need aliens to attack us to unite? Like, let's just realize that it's the human kingdom and the crown is truly on the system admin. That means God is the major movement agency. Do you understand? But human beings, it's like we're in the human kingdom, but the crown is on the head of the future generations. No person alive is like a king or queen. We're all servants of our greatness, potential greatness, right? And it's as if, like, you know what it is for me? This is personal because there's moments I've been giving these talks and suddenly I got emotional, and I think people didn't, like, I don't think anybody would know sometimes how I get emotional in these talks. It's because I feel the future generations watching me. It's weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like they're not born yet, but I can see, my mind can fathom that possibility, you know? And so what it is for me, I have kind of like poetically the soul of a designer. That means I have a very, I notice I notice existence as a shape, and before even putting meaning, I was like, what am I looking at? You don't understand. It's a function. It's a process. What educational system convinces you you're a noun. This whole life has been an unknown verb, right? This whole time. And the educational system's like, buddy, you're a noun. Now go be a specific noun and be a battery for like what civilization is, like being. Somebody once said it very nicely, that right now we're living at a time where profit is the most valuable thing. Everybody in civilization is inspired by profit. Profit. And you might be like, pro fitness. I'm like, no, I mean that just the notion that this is a system that you gotta extract resources from. That means it's very important how we actually move in reality. And what is What is the greatest vision of the species truly? Your greatest moments are waiting for you. If somebody said that to me, I'll be like, what do you mean? And I think the response could be something in the sort of like, all right, your whole life it has been like you've have access to the memories of your past, the trail of how you've tunneled experientially through all the selves you've been, all the times you've logged in and out of this conscious existential server. And so now this podcaster is telling you, oh human species, you were from the beginning more than an idea. Behind your eyes, the world moves further than it does in front of your eyes. That means a person can see what is going to happen. We can see, like, they're like, yo man, is the species a fortune teller? I'm like, I don't know. Some people can see, like, for example, if there's a vase at the edge of a table, it's like, is everybody a fortune teller if they can imagine it like falling? It's like there's no such thing, guys. The future is something. I think the most best embrace of it is to first have a relationship with the unknown. So I am that human being, like being like, all right guys, for how long are we gonna play this game that we are a character in the human story, right? When it's actually a field of activity. That means this might be strange, but I might be one of the few people on this planet, maybe maybe not, that's why I say few, that if you ask me where does my thoughts come from, I have an answer for you. So if I'm telling you your greatest, if I'm telling you your greatest moments are waiting for you, how am I envisioning that myself? And it's like, it's as simple as being like, man, we don't have flying cars, but I can imagine them. And then I'm like, man, we have a civilization 1.0. Wait a minute, though. I can imagine civilization 2.0. I could see all human beings unite. I could see that there's one anthem sung all over the planet. And it is the anthem that the species united for the sake of its what it universally deserved. Today you're on Earth, in a city, on a nation, in a culture, acting like, your part. But tomorrow your children will be laughing among the stars. My great-grandchildren, hopefully. And it is about the vision of the species. How do we truly advance? What is the most superior state of consciousness? That means the whole question is that what is the most advanced state? And discovering that to be a human is not just to be a specific idea as a character in a story, wondering about what's happening to this character, but it's to be aware that whatever you are is a state of consciousness. If your state of consciousness alters, your sense of identity alters. And so your sense of being let's say, like, just the fact that we consider ourselves as a sense of self. I'm being here like, yo guys, I'm Mr.Within. That's an archetype, that's an idea that we're considering that subject to be a sense of self. And I think the viewers are like, all right man, we'll play along with it. I'm like, thanks. What is the superior path of the most advanced vision of the human species? I have realized it is the advanced civilization. For me, that's my purpose to live. That means they're like, yo man, what's a human purpose? You have to be alive. I'll be like, yeah, I would like to have kids and then to advance civilization. I see nothing else. I see everybody living for the same thing. They're like, yeah, how can you see a politician and somebody who's like working at McDonald's living for the same thing? And I'll be like, I see all of us living for the same thing, because I ask myself, in the same way a 5-year-old kid becomes a 50-year-old man, and the difference is like the soul is becoming responsible for what it is aware of. Eventually, every soul will become aware that the format is human. We're human. I was like, how do I make it cool for the younger generations? I'm like, guys, it's the human familia. They're like, is that a mafia vibe? I'm like, nah, man, it's just the human family in Italian. I don't know. I'm telling you that I don't know how it is for you, but I've started having this, like, my whole life. I felt like every moment of my life was missing something, and it was honestly missing two things. And I am blessed to say that right now I have reached that checkpoint of having those two things. One is a relationship with the original power of reality. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. All praise to the original power, the original singular power beyond all manifestation. That means I was like, oh my God, man, I thought I became a Muslim. It was as if everything in existence that has been created knows what has been commanded into existence. You see, like, people look at religion and they're like, man, those are stories, bro. And I'm like, no. Just you haven't looked at the geometry because you are afraid how culture treats you. And culture has, in some sense, you know, branded us for too long. Like, there's been people who've said that culture is not like their friend. They're like, what do you mean culture is not your friend? And the person's like, what do I mean culture is not my friend? It's a machine, it's a mechanism, it's based on ancient and modern values. It's like what we're seeing. If humanity was a painting, we'll be like, what is this? One thing that was missing was the presence of the system admin, because I reached a point where I'm like, I can have infinite viewpoints on life. What is the point? Life can't be a viewpoint, so what's beyond the viewpoint? And I realized for the human psyche, there regards to be a higher agency. It is very fascinating because through the theological lens, an original being from an absolute state commanded the absolute existence of the human soul and imbued the something beyond the human soul's understanding within the human soul, and commanded the human soul to say the divine names, and then commanded manifestation. Do you understand? Manifestation was astonished, and in some sense, all manifestation bowed to the greatness, not to mankind, but they all bowed to the greatness of the system admin. Do you know? And then, except one moderator didn't, and so then, that story is another point. But the whole point, I'm saying, God commanded us to perform in an existence, and we're not here to act like gods or think we're all God. We're here to realize we're that lens for the lower worlds and the higher worlds to, in some sense, connect. Do you understand? That means in the creation of the Adam painting by Raphael, I think, where people are like, yo, man, is Adam oblivious that God is so close? And for a Muslim, it would be as if God is closer to you than your jugular vein. Do you understand what that means? That means only your Creator knows you truly. You belong to a field of awareness, a divine surveillance state that surpasses the eyes and the words and the behaviors of humanity. And there will come a moment where this whole life will appear to you as a masterpiece beyond your understanding. And that's when I'll be like, well done. I don't know who you are, I don't know what position you are, but I'm telling you, if you truly wonder, just from a design perspective, like, just for a moment be like, okay, man, Do you know, like there's my life and then there's like everybody else's life. But what's the point of 8 billion, 8.1 billion lives right now? Do you know what the point of 8.1 billion lives is? Human lives on Earth? It is that, like, this is what I think is honestly the most coolest advanced idea on this planet Earth. Let's say for now, the coolest idea is what would 8 billion advanced beings look like, and what would the civilization of 8 billion be what would the most advanced civilization of the most advanced 8 billion beings look like? And to me, I was like, whoa, the moment my brain has witnessed the advanced civilization, behind my eyes, I am, in some sense, that was one thing that was missing. The honor of my existence, and I realize I now serve the system admin and the advanced civilization. That means on Earth, to me, the most advanced civilization possible is like man's greatness. And man's greatness is God's creation. Do you understand? We're close to the system admin. People think Islam is a violent religion. You don't understand. There's Islam, there's Christianity, there's all these different religions, but I'm telling you, there's also humans. And there's human souls that they could be Muslim or they could be Christian, but it's like from a religious perspective, it's as if, have they accepted they're going to hell? Do you understand? Because it's as if like the point of religion is being like, wait a minute, are you telling me God created me? Everybody, all religious people are like, yeah, man, God created you. And then I'm like, wait a minute, are you telling me God created everything else? And they're like, yeah, man, God created everything. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So every person who's been fighting with any other person, you've been fighting with God's creation? And all religious people are like, no, 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 no. And you're like, yeah. So the whole point of it is, how can you be violent to the creation of this God you're praising? How can you go praise God and then go be savage and violent and then come and praise God? Do you understand? That means how can you act as if you know better what should happen to a soul than the system admin? Do you understand? So the whole point of Islam is the submission of the ego, not the empowerment of it into a cruel, like, savage, archetype. It is all about the true presence of reality being beyond us and us realizing there's an intelligence to this system. And I'm telling you, the future, it's as simple as this. How do I explain it? If I was to explain to you the future, in the presence of the system admin, the greatest moment that can be fathomed has been concluded is that it is an unconditional moment. An unconditional moment is beyond any condition found in the world room. However, we're 8 billion humans found in the world room in a specific condition. The interesting point is there's clues to this mystery of what's going on Earth. One clue is we're designed in the same species, like we have the same species geometry class, but on another level, everybody has a different DNA. There's no two of the same person. Because there's two different moments in the space-time continuum. That means that means there's 100% two different souls. Everybody's a different soul. Everybody's a different, even biological design. Your DNAs are different. And when I wonder about the future, I wonder about, could it be that one day I wake up and I'm like, wait a minute, it's everybody's suddenly comfortable and respectful on Earth and very aware and intelligent because we're a species now. We're citizens, we're members of the same species and citizens of the Earth. And so in an advanced civilization, ideology does not limit man. Do you know what it is? What it's like how an advanced civilization? I can somewhat fathom how it begins. It begins when a ratio of advanced beings in a civilization, increase more than 50%, and it becomes suddenly a shift where you suddenly see there's human beings and you're like, wait a minute, is that a good guy and a bad guy? And you're like, no, that's an advanced guy. That's an advanced soul. An advanced soul is not just responsible for now. Let me tell you how remarkable it is, guys. One of these things I've discovered that I have to share because I think it's going to advance everything, right? Is that when you wake up tomorrow, okay? I don't know if you can hear me properly. When you wake up tomorrow, okay? Just every person you talk to their most advanced self. Every moment you find yourself, consider the most advanced state. And at some point realize the most advanced state is not human meaning given to it. It's realizing we're in the presence of the original reality. That means if honestly, we're at a point where I don't know if I have kids. I don't have kids, but if I did have kids, I don't know what I'd tell them. If my kids come and say, hey, Dad, is this toy real? Do you know? I'd be like, son, I don't know what to tell you. Do you know? It's yes, for now it is real. For now, meaning, this sort of meaning can be ascribed, but let us not forget that there's so many different views, so many different angles. How many different ways can reality happen? How well can we comprehend the nature of a system? They call it systems thinking. You're not ignorant of the whole system. You kind of see that we're elements inside a greater system. To me, it's not about discovering life's meaning. It's kind of so far, it's kind of play a role, be honest with the moment, and realize that this is how the moment is. This is the nature of my intelligence. This moment, how it exists, how I'm here, this is what I am. How far can it go? How great can it be? Where can identity truly arise from? What is the value of every moment? Does the end have a beginning? Does the beginning have an end? What is the point? Honestly, guys, as a human being, I've wondered about what is the point, and I've realized, okay, if we didn't have a mind that could fathom various probabilities of the future that are more advanced than now, I'd be like, okay, there's nothing to do on this planet. But there is, and it's the mercy of the system admin that has given us an ability to be aware of ourselves beyond ourselves. What that means is you can't know your soul, but there is a nature of reality that where you think thoughts come from. The answer to that question, where thoughts come from, it's a field, guys. I don't know how to explain it. It's a divine field, and a divine field is equivalent to the green matrix code in the movie Matrix, but they're divine commands, meaning you're in a commanded existence. That means I was like, man, if it's commanded, then there's no explanation. It's just instantaneously this. It's fascinating. like the intelligence, I find my reality is fascinating. God to me is the most advanced intelligence. And sometimes you don't know if you're how you don't know how value you sometimes never can't don't know the value of your own soul, but a part of you feels like, okay, did I live for more than me, whatever that was. And I'm telling you, the more than me for everybody alive in 2025 is species level consciousness. That means be kind to your species and begin treating people as if they're their most advanced self. It seems to me to be the most advanced method. Like, I'm trying to comprehend it personally. To me, they're like, yo man, are you talking to a fool? I'm like, no. I see the most advanced version of that being. I see the most advanced fool. That's the way I kind of treat the meaning of reality. I put the word advanced. They're like, are you in a simulation? I'm like, I'm in an advanced simulation. They're like, are you a good guy or a bad guy? I'm like, it doesn't matter whichever I am. I'm an advanced good guy. I'm an advanced bad guy. But there is no duality to it. Because if you wonder about what is good and bad, it's the intention, then the action, then the consequence. But the nature of the being before the action was not based on the action. To me, the species is realizing that beyond how an idea is, they've been treating an idea as themselves. They're in a intelligent field of activity, and we are right now experiencing that in more the communication, social context. But I believe that the advance, all of this that is all foolishness is going to convert one day to ingenious vision. You don't understand. Everything's going to become very advanced. And if the point of it is not about continuing, it's pretty much about honoring the moment. So to me, there was an external existential honor that was missing to my life. And there was, like, at the same time, beyond that existential honor, external existential honor, it was as if the great power, like the thing was, I was talking about an advanced civilization, but I wasn't talking about like how an advanced civilization arises. And that means logically it needs power, right? So the most advanced state, if it's an unconditional original state, that means it has to be the original power. That means it's legit the most advanced state building the most advanced civilization. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's advanced because the most advanced state is building, but it's building through the role of man. But it's not. We cannot comprehend God. God can comprehend God. Is all knowing. Do you know what that means? God is all knowing is equivalent to a node realizing it is in a field. That means, I'm telling you, if you suddenly treat everybody as their most advanced self, there will come a moment you will look in the mirror and then you have to start treating yourself as the most advanced. That means, like, get a notebook, write, like, who am I, ? And then just keep writing, like, write a dash, write a sentence that comes to your mind of who you are, and keep writing sentences. And in the moment, after that, try to write the most advanced version of that. And eventually, I call this the advancement principle. Pretty much you wonder about the most advanced state. That means what is even beyond duality and chaos and order. For example, right now, I think the human species philosophy is not that complicated, guys. There's pretty much 4 sectors of manifestation that humanity has discovered. And you're like, what do you mean, Mr. Within? I'll be like, the context to reality. So either reality is empty. This is Mr. Withinian system, guys, I've designed. I call it ring of the absent heaven. And it's just pretty much 0, 1, 2, and then the infinity symbol. It's just these 4 symbols. And you know what that means? That means there's 4 corners to this, let's say, reality's context. It's either void, number 0. It's either singular, It is either dualistic, chaotic, like good, bad, chaos, order, all this, or it is infinite. And when I say ring of the absent heaven, that means they're all connected. That means they're all sandwiched between each other. So do you know what that means? That means, like, if I ask you, hey, if you were a sci-fi writer, like what kind of characters you can create, you'd be like, okay, I could associate a character. And guys, when I say context, just to clarify, and this is going to help you understand everything, knowledge, I think this kind of unlocks knowledge, that every concept is found in a context in the same way you're a self that's found in the world. Okay? And the world is your context, and the self is the concept. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm saying, when you understand that the self is found in the context is the environment. It's like, if I draw a circle, that's the context. If I put a dot in the circle, that's the concept. There could be so many different concepts in one context, right? And there could be a way where there's even so many different contexts to one concept. Okay? And pretty much the species is trained and educated and conditioned on concept shifting, which is very stressful. But context shifting is I think the more advanced view, the more unexplored aspect of human psychology. Your greatest moments are how, if there was the most advanced version of you and it had done the most advanced thing and it was all the most advanced moment. You see, the idea of advancement is so fascinating. Okay, because it's like, yo man, did that person get a good reward, a bad reward? It's like they got an advanced reward. You know, they got an advanced result. Do you know what that means, advanced? Advanced means the person, it's not about even if they're religious, not religious, they're just the soul in a world, and they're wondering about, okay, what's the most advanced state? And in that search, they begin, a part of them understands, okay, yeah, because if I infinitize things, that means if I speed them up, that means if I wonder about, like, if I moved at the speed of light, like, there would be no time, there would be no context. It is so fascinating that one day you'll realize what I'm saying is that this whole time we've been allowing the idea of ourselves to act like it's the whole moment, or we own the moment, right? Because that's the language that civilization requires right now. But in actuality, this is the most intense thing about reality I've discovered, I've been saying so far in my life. Okay? And what it is that, guys, this whole time, from the beginning of our lives on this planet, from the moment that we had a birth certificate, we had a name, we became a character, an idea in the civilizational idea, in civilizational intelligence, field of civilizational intelligence, right? That was the moment where, how do I explain it? We forgot that really what happened on Earth is that our ancestors opened their eyes. They were overwhelmed. They're like, what am I looking at? You know, they were freaking out. And they're like, okay, let's contain it. In the same way they captured wild animals, they captured reality into what? Into an idea, into a subject. Suddenly everybody had a name. Suddenly an object had a name. When somebody said that sound, and suddenly sounds were associated to those names. Do you see the complexity of that structure? Human psychology is so fascinating because really it's how you pay attention to it. So your greatest moments are waiting, because I firmly believe that the whole point of it is death is not the final moment. Meeting the system admin is the final moment. The system admin is the most advanced original state of being, original power. Right now we're in a simulated reality. How is it a simulated reality? Because your body is simulated here for some time. You log into the conscious waking state, and then you log out when you sleep. So the day is simulated for some time. You know, every idea you have based on where your attention goes, it can be simulate the meaning of the moment. Like, for example, people who have ADHD, it means their attention is just going everywhere. So everything is, they're kind of like, the only way they can organize their mind, if they just consider everything, the context is interconnected. You know? That's honestly it. That means, I mean, different psychologies are different. That's a different lecture. But anyways, guys, I'm telling you, you don't have to just be defined by your past. Wonder about what the most advanced state of you is. Be honorable to reality. Realize that, and like, there could be people who are like, man, I don't like the human species. Joker was right. Yeah, let's all be Mad Max and evil, And I'll be like, guys, you don't understand. The human species is an opportunity to be the most advanced expression. And rather than thinking one idea has to rule them all, kind of having a savage, tribal, ideological warfare, because we've kind of like identified with chunks of land, still haven't understood that, all right, guys, we don't have to get rid of nations, but let all the leaders of nations unite, and let us realize there's the United Species Council. You don't understand, guys, what I'm saying. If any politician, if all the politicians of the world were somehow heard it, there would be world peace instantly, because their ego would not allow them not to, because if they do this, they become the most important politician in history. They're like, oh my God, Mr. Within, how did everybody unite and stop being like at war? And I'm like, suddenly everybody realized, wait a minute, we're humans, yo, we're humans. Let us just unite as a species. Let us identify with the species. Let us honor the species. Let us honor how the species is one of God's greatest creation. Destined to return to the greatest advanced power. That means some people think life is about, like, you're gonna die at the end of this life. No. Every day of your life, reality has to become more advanced, more advanced, more advanced. Become fascinated by how you're meeting the original state of reality as a simulated being. To me, it's very fascinating. And of course, the system admin, God knows best. For truth is beyond the human idea if the human idea is simulated. In an unknown world, we smile in the presence of the majesty of all that could be. If your mind doesn't know what to do, listen to your heart. If your heart doesn't know what to do, reach out to the higher power. And if you've sincerely reached out to the higher power beyond shape, form, any idea, to the higher power beyond the box that we're all in, beyond this box of simulated manifestation, call upon the original power, request its assistance, and then just trust, and you will be fascinated, and you'll be like, okay, that's why Mr. Within became Muslim. Have faith that the world knows what it's doing even before you existed. It is a great performance that we're living in now. It's incredible to me, to the fact that it has this display. For intelligence in reality is truly great when it realizes if behind its eyes it is, why not in front of it? That means it's not that your greatest moments are waiting for you. You have been waiting for your greatest moment. Your greatest moment comes with the highest responsibility level. The highest responsibility level right now for 2025 that most people can grasp is the species level responsibility. But beyond the species level, it's earth kind responsibility. Beyond earth kind responsibility, it is celestial responsibility. Beyond celestial responsibility, it is universal responsibility. That means that like that guy's not just picking trash. In every moment, his existence in the presence is in the presence of the majesty of the original power that is presenting the simulation's intelligent activity. It's like we're all characters in a novel, and how every day stuff is changing and the world is moving forward is like how the author has not finished writing the novel, and we're like, okay, we realize we're characters simulated for certain time in a certain shape and form to be part of reality in a certain way, and our contribution to reality is that we existed. We were either, and to me, if you ask me like what is the main point of life, I'll be like, the answer, we were conditioned to be self-obsessed because the body had to survive. But the actual answer is, at least for me personally, the main point of life is that it's not me. Because the human position is limited, I have human meaning. It is the system admin. It's an unconditional force. So as a Muslim, I am worshipping an original unconditional force of reality, that every moment in reality is the divine command, and that is seeing behind the scenes of manifestation, but only God knows why, because the original is beyond the comprehension of the simulated. And is it about an original cause, simulating simulating an effect, and that simulated effect returning to the original cause? It's as if, what if the moment is in the moment we're all in the presence of the system admin and we're conscious, that's it. So this is the protocol. Go towards the most advanced power, that's God, and then go towards the most advanced expression possible for humans, which is the advanced civilization. My purpose in life and where I extract honor is like, okay, advance everything in civilization. Go as far as you can so the future generations can go further. In the presence of the system admin, may all of us be guided to our greatest moments. For not only they are waiting for us, but we have been waiting for them. It is now time for the march of a species, not just into its own advancement, but towards all. That's everything in existence has served. To me, reality is as if, okay, I am going forth. It is going forth. May I breathe as a being that cared for how advanced all of it could be. They're like, are you hopeful, hopeless? I'm like, man, those words are old school. With the moment my mind just saw like everybody's working for their most advanced self, their most advanced selves would all be living in the most advanced civilization. What would the most advanced civilization look like? And guys, for a decade, it has been my hobby to wonder. And I'm someone who like has a passion for sky cities. Like probably when I become a senior citizen, I'm just gonna talk about sky cities all the time. They're like, Grandpa, can you stop talking about the geometry of how sky cities would be engineered? And I'll be like, you grandkids don't understand. We're gonna be living in the sky one day. I'm kidding, guys. I don't know. The system admin truly knows why we're here. To me, instead of me overthinking what the future should be, I am fascinated by how far my thoughts of it can be, and then I wonder, okay, let us see what reality truly is. Beyond an epistemological, egoic constraint, the ontological fascination of reality just was superior. That means to me, what all of this is more important than what I want it to be, pretty much. And that's the higher power. Like, that's kind of like having a relationship with the higher power. Anyways, thank you for listening. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful, the most advanced, may you be blessed, and may the greatest moments find us all May God bless the human species, for we performed before manifestation in the greatest way, and I believe every soul has been commanded in existence, and I believe within that command is the destiny of the most advanced unified expression of the human species. We ushered ourselves beyond, the savagery of the inner realms, and we organized it towards the unification of, like, we're not just the human species, we're our most advanced vision and our furthest awareness of it. You understand? It's like, yo, man, is the education system in that country better? No, it's like, no, it's like, how responsible is the whole species for all of itself, and how does it organize its sectors? It's fascinating, the future. I'm sure that there's incredible souls who will be born to guide us forth there. God's will. Truly. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds, the original moment that all simulated manifestation returns to and knows. God is great. Why? Because the intelligent field of possibility of being is incredible. Be fascinated in this world. They're like, what's the point of Earth? It's like you're in a fascinating moment. A moment that nobody like you has ever existed, to look at the world like this, and it's like comprehend the incredible nature of what you're seeing that nobody else does, and then you understand why people become writers, really. Anyways, thank you for listening, guys. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful, the most advanced. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.